This next batch of Maine Road memories is all about the ground, not so much the matches that took place, but Maine Road, the ground, and the experiences of people on a match day. I remember the first time I went was a night match. I'd only ever seen City play on TV in black and white, so when I got there the first time, the things that struck me were the drabness perhaps of Moss Side as they approached the ground, but then once I got in there, the explosion of colours and smells and the noise and the excitement, they were quite overwhelming really. It was the only game that my mum ever attended with me, so that's obviously a game and an experience I'll never forget. Here are the next batch of memories.
And I have to say, even now, I find it very hard to drive through Moss Side by the old site, and I often have to just look ahead and not look left and not look right, because if I do, my bottom lip starts to tremble. But Maine Road, always in my heart, forever in my soul. Love the place.
Everything was fun. The concerts that Bernard started to make money for Maine Road, which we desperately needed. That was amazing, and a very lucky part to most of us who seen every top artist at that time at Maine Road. But again, the thing was that Bernard wanted to save the club money.
My memories will centre around my brother. He's not here to tell the story. Tragically, he died at the age of 37, but he was a member of the iconic 1986 FA Youth Cup winning squad. Here he is celebrating with Lakey, Steve Compton, all the squad on the pitch after they won that historic victory against Manchester United on the 29th of April, which happens to be my son's birthday. How about that for a date to remember?
My Maine Road memories. Maine Road has such a special place in my heart because it's obviously where I first started my Manchester City journey as a fan.
I've loved hearing the stories about Maine Road because it's brought back a lot of my childhood memories. Some of my earliest memories are related to City. We lived on a road not far from Maine Road. It was the road that went down to the bus station, and as kids we would stay awake at night and we played a game seeing if we could guess the score, because we could hear the roar of the crowd. The lights lit up our bedroom, the lights over Maine Road lit up our bedroom, and we could hear the roar of the crowd, and we'd guess whether City had scored, or whether if there was a low mum, that was the hardest bit, if there was a low grumble, was that because they'd missed, or was it because the other team had scored?
I went to every home game with my dad, Eric the Blue. And every Saturday lunchtime we would drive up to the legendary Sherwood pub in Fallowfield, where he would meet his City mates for a pint or two or three. Yet I would have to stay in the car park. In those days, children weren't allowed in pubs, so I would sit there reading my Roy the Rovers, listening to Piccadilly radio, and occasionally my dad would bob out with a can of Coke and a bag of crisps to keep me sweet. Then about 2:30 we would make our way over to Maine Road, and that 10-minute walk for me was magical. I loved it. I loved the network of alleyways. I loved seeing the throngs of City fans. I loved catching sight of the floodlights in the distance when we got nearer. But above all, I love that communal sense of anticipation that there always was before a 3 o'clock kick-off, because with our team, you just never knew what was going to happen.
That's where I met Bernard, and we had many, many happy years and many times together there. So it's a place that's very dear to my heart even now. Some of the funny things were when it was transfer deadline day, and it'd be 3 o'clock in the morning, Bernard would phone me and say, well, we haven't got any food, we can't leave the office, it's all going through, can you make us something? So I used to rustle up some food, put it in the car, get the two kids out of bed and drive through Moss Side, which, as we all know, is not the greatest, but it all added to the fun. And then I also used to work on reception for Bernard, because when he was in charge at Maine Road, he thought the club's money was his own. So if ever we had a rugby game, a concert, anything else, I had to go and do reception so that he didn't have to pay anybody, because that would save the club money. And I mean, he was just such a funny man, really. And also match days, my favourite bit is when you got to the top of the stairs at the Blue Room and you'd look down and you'd look around and see everybody you knew. And I just absolutely loved that. That's where we all like caught up every week and, you know, had a chat and a drink. One occasion, Ian Wright was there and I was coming at the top of the stairs and he said, "Kazza, do you want a gin and tonic?" And I went, no. I said, I don't drink till after the game. He said, "Well, you're not playing. Change the habit of a lifetime." And my street cred went right up because with my daughter and grandson, because Ian Wright actually knew my name. So that was good.
We always used to park on a side street near the Beehive pub, and we would roll up and somebody, a little boy or a girl, would always run up to the car and go, "Can I mind your car? Can I mind your car?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, of course you can. I'll give you the money when we get back if it's all right." Because I think it was like a bit of a cash scheme to get the money up front, but we always said if the car was all right after the car, then they'd get a quid. So, and that always worked. I don't think we ever had any problems with the car at Maine Road. And then we'd go to the Beehive pub, which was opposite an off licence. I think it was called Bunty off licence. And there'd be some people who'd go in the off licence and buy cans in there and stand outside there. And then there'd be people who'd go to the Beehive, and then if it was a nice day weather-wise, people would stand outside drinking and then they'd be singing songs at each other. So you'd already have like that bit of banter before you've even been anywhere near the ground. And on a nice day, if the weather was really nice, then there'd be a guy with a grill making really, really hot jerk chicken. And that's my abiding memory of really nice weather, if we were lucky to have it, going to Maine Road, because you could always smell that really hot jerk chicken and he'd always be there with his grill. That was really good.
Knitted myself a scarf, which in those days it was mini skirts and the long scarves, you know, like the Doctor Who scarf, and mine was white and blue and red and black, and went to Wembley with us. That scarf did. It took a long time to knit because it was so long. And the rattle, of course, and it was all part of it, and the coming out afterwards, and trying to get the football final, the final pink, and hoping that the scores would be in that little column at the side, the up-to-date scores, seeing what the latest score was for the other teams, and the programme, of course, the programme was very much part of it, because you had to have a programme so that you could cut the token off and hope that you'd get enough to save up for the cup games, and then have to go and queue for the tickets.
Dad and I had season tickets in the main stand in D Block, and there was such a lovely little community of City fans there. Everybody knew everybody. It was fab. And while, of course, I was there to watch the football, I used to find that during the 90 minutes, my attention would often go wandering. Because for me, Maine Road was a people watcher's paradise. It really was. And whether it was a fan getting carted out by a steward, or a celebrity VIP in the director's box, or that awful scoreboard in the North Stand, there was always something else to capture my attention.
And it was by no means perfect in any way. It was what it was. It was a bit of a mismatched ground. Some may call it like a bit of a Meccano stadium, bit of a Lego stadium. It'd have like, you'd have the main stand, Platt Lane, Kippax and North Stand. And then obviously we got the Gene Kelly as well. So we started off with a Gene Kelly between the Kippax and the North. Then we got a little mini one between the Kippax and the Platt Lane. And it was obviously called the Gene Kelly because it was singing in the rain. So you just get soaked if you ever sat there. And it was all the little imperfections for me that Maine Road, what it really was. I remember the club shop. You'd have to queue to get in the club shop and there'd be bouncers on the door of the club shop. And I remember when we got the Kappa shirt maker going in, and it was like Disneyland when we went in there, because it was like, oh, can't believe we're sponsored by Kappa, oh my god. And it was just Kappa stuff everywhere, and the club shop was just amazing. I'm sure it was like an old social club or something that they converted into the club shop. And when I first started going to Maine Road, they had a club shop inside the Kippax as well. So inside the Kippax stand, I remember buying a few little quirky t-shirts and stuff in the actual Kippax stand, in a little shop in there.
I kept a scrapbook at the time as well. I was only a young supporter, and kept a scrapbook. And I've had a picture of Skip, Tony Buck, with 4 trophies. It was the Charity Shield as it was then, the First Division Championship trophy, and the FA Cup, because of course we won them within the year. And he had Player of the Year trophy as well, so he had 4 trophies. And then great thing was last September, Skip Tony Buck came to our Flixton branch of the supporters club, and I showed him the picture and he signed it for me. And I also had a picture taken that night with him with the 4 trophies of last season. So I show you the original. There we are, with the Charity Shield and the FA Cup and the First Division trophy, and that's his signature there. Signed 50 years after that had happened, and with the 4, and had photograph taken with the 4 new trophies. So great being the blue, and great memories.
Maine Road, a special place in our memories. Thanks to everybody who contributed to that video. The next one will focus a lot more on matches. If you want to contribute, you know how to contact me. In the meantime, stay safe and look after your loved ones. And remember, it's always great being a blue, isn't it? Big shout out to the 3 companies that have supported the products that I put out under the Forever Blue title throughout the year, the podcast and the vlogs. See you all soon.